Hi guys, welcome to, I can't even see my phone so I can't tell when people jump on, but I'm just going to get going right away because you can always watch this after the fact, after live, so if you're joining on replay, welcome. And welcome to our third class, Kavira Coalition's third Yoga for Farmers and Ranchers class. My name is Alexis, and I am the new agrarian program coordinator up in Montana, and I'm also a yoga instructor, and I've been teaching for about 10 years. And so over the last couple years, I've developed some exercises, yoga and non-yoga exercises to help people who do farming and ranching for a living, because there's particular physical activities that we do repetitively that wear on our joints, and so there's a combination of strength and flexibility work that we need to do to keep our bodies strong and resilient to all of the different things that we do. And so I would encourage you to watch the last couple classes I've done. Some of the stuff will be new, some of the stuff will be stuff that we did the last couple weeks. But what we're going to do today is we're going to begin on our backs. And so wherever you're at, just lay down on your back. And I'm not going to do that right now because I'm going to talk you through some things. And I want we're going to start to focus on our breathing first. And I'm going to talk about a couple important things to remember when you're focusing on your breath. And so while you're on your back, if it is uncomfortable at all for your lower back, feel free to bend your knees and just bring your knees, let them knock together in the center. Oftentimes, laying flat on your back can pinch kind of in the lumbar area, and so if you need to bend your knees to make that feel better, please feel free to do so. And we're just going to bring our arms by our side, palms face up. You can close your eyes, and I want you to start to focus on your breathing. During the day, it is very common for people to chest breathe, which means that we breathe very shallowly. We only breathe in the very top part of our lungs. And so for the next 45 minutes, I want you to really focus on pulling your breath in all the way into your lungs. So as you inhale, you want to feel your belly get bigger, and you want to allow an expansion in your lungs. And so allow your belly to rise, allow your ribs to expand outward, and we even want to feel expansion in our upper back, so in between your shoulder blades. If your upper back is super tight, which most of us do have tight upper backs, then that pulling the air into the back of the lungs is going to feel a little tight. So I just want you to notice how it feels to take really nice, long, deep breaths, and just kind of notice where you're feeling tight, where it feels restricted. And know that over time, as you practice this deeper breathing, it will get easier to do. And so start to slowly lengthen your inhales and lengthen your exhales. So just as we're breathing the air into every part of our lung capacity, we want to also exhale out all of the air. So most of the time during the day when we're chest breathing, we don't exhale all the air out, and that is super important as well. And so just focus on this nice deep breath. Just notice how it feels, and hopefully by the end of class it will be more natural for you to breathe deeper each time. All right, everyone, so we're gonna do 3 deep breaths together, so I'm gonna count for you. So I want you to take a deep breath in through your nose, filling up your lungs all the way to the top. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. Inhale through your nose, a deeper breath this time. Hold it there for a moment at the top. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. All right, last one. Inhale through the nose, your deepest breath yet. We're just gonna hold it at the top for a little bit longer. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. All right, everyone, so we're just gonna focus on breathing in and out through your nose through the rest of this class. And remember, some of the things you might not be able to do for injuries or various other things, and so that's okay. Just do what you can. And remember that if you are focusing on your breathing and breathing deeply, you are doing yoga. So everyone should be on their backs at this point, and what we're gonna do here is everyone's gonna bend our knees, and I want you to separate your feet wider than your hips. So wider, so your knees should be a little bit closer together and your feet out. And then I want you to just begin to slowly sway your knees side to side. And so we're getting a little bit of movement in our lower spine. And just notice how this feels. So if you get to a certain point and something hurts or doesn't feel quite right, you might be going a little too far. Keeping your shoulders relaxed on the floor. Remember, we're still focusing on our breathing, so inhaling deeply and exhaling all of the air out. All right, next time your knees fall over to the right, I just want you to hold them there. So just kind of let your legs relax. And you can stay right here in this position, or if you're able, pick up your right foot and gently lay it on the outside of your left leg. So we're just trying to relax our lower body, our right leg's bringing weight to the left leg and just deepening into this twist. My cat's gonna come help, it seems like, so. All right, everyone, so we're gonna keep our right ankle where it's at and then bring your left knee up towards the ceiling. And so there's a couple things we can do here. This might be enough stretch for you in your right hip, and you can just push your right knee away from you to get more of a stretch. Or if you need a little bit more, your right arm can go through the triangle you made in your legs, and you can either grab onto your hamstring or your shin, just depending on your flexibility today. And you can just gently pull your leg towards your chest. So one thing to remember with your breathing is on your exhale, you are calming your nervous system. On your inhale, you are waking up your nervous system. So we want to move into our stretching postures a little bit deeper on our exhales. So move with your breath. So you inhale and hold and exhale and maybe pull your leg in a little bit closer. All right, take a deep breath in through your nose, and on your exhale, release your leg. Bring your feet back to the floor, so feet are wider than your hips. Maybe sway your knees side to side a couple of times. And then next time your knees fall over to the left, just relax them down. So relax your lower body, keep both shoulder blades pressed into the floor. And you can stay right here or pick up your left foot and gently lay it on the outside of your right leg. Remember, with your breathing, you should be feeling your belly rise with every inhale. And breathing all of the air out through your nose. All right, slowly bring your right knee back up to the ceiling. You might scoot your right foot in a little bit closer to your body. And again, here, you can just push your left knee away from you and just get a little bit of a stretch in your left hip. Or if you want to take this further, left arm goes through the triangle you made in your legs, grabbing onto either your hamstring or your shin. Moving deeper into your posture on your exhale, not your inhale. And just focusing on your breathing. So again, your foot does not have to be lifted. It can still be on the floor and just pushing your knee away from you. And notice which side is tighter. Is it your left or right? It's always important that we notice where we have imbalance in our body. All right, everyone, take a deep breath in through your nose, and on your exhale, release your leg. Stretch your legs out. Stretch your arms behind you and get as long as possible. So just stretch out. Maybe lift up through your rib cage so that you feel your spine come off the floor. And then on your exhale, move your left foot off to the side and then cross your right ankle over your left. So now you should feel a stretch up the right side of your body from your waist all the way up to your fingertips, and you might even grab onto your hand and just pull your hand backward. So you're kind of shaped like a banana. You want your shoulder blades evenly pressed into the floor, both sides. Same with your hips. And then slowly come out. Move your right leg off to the side. Cross your left ankle over your right and then grab onto your left hand. Just gently pull your left hand backwards, stretching through the left side of your body. So we are flexing our spine laterally, so lateral flexion. This is not often that we do this, especially in this sort of way where our shoulder blades are even and our hips are even, so it's a really good stretch to remember. And slowly come back to the center. All right, we're gonna bend our knees again. So this time your feet and your knees are as wide as your hips. You're going to bring your arms by your side, palms face down, and now we're going to move our spine front to back. And so we just did a side spinal movement, now front to back. And so when you're ready, we're going to inhale and lift your hips up towards the ceiling, squeeze your glutes, so it's important that we keep our glutes strong, and then exhale and drop. So at your own pace, you're going to inhale and lift your hips up and squeeze, and exhale and drop. It does not matter how high you're lifting your hips up. What we're trying to do here is wake up our glutes, which are often asleep because of sitting in tractors or trucks and all of that kind of stuff. And we want to wake them up because they fall asleep and then they forget to get engaged when they need to be. So you're going to inhale, lift, and squeeze, and we want to squeeze our hamstrings as well. And then exhale and drop. So moving with your breath, inhale, lift, and exhale and drop. All right, everyone, we're going to meet with our hips down on the floor, and now I want you to bring your knees into your chest. So you can either just grab onto each knee with your hands, or if you're feeling like you can pull your knees in tighter, you can wrap your arms around your legs, grabbing on to opposite elbows. So just relax your feet. It is very common to hold air in our lungs when we've got our knees in like this, so just breathe all of the air out and then just begin to breathe normally in and out through your nose. All right, everyone, we're gonna keep our left knee in towards our chest, and I just want you to extend your right leg up towards the ceiling. Now, it's super important that we build abdominal wall strength for the work that we do, and that's not always fun, but we're not gonna do crunches today or anything. We're gonna work on strengthening our TVA, which is your transverse abdominis muscles that are your deepest core muscles. They protect your lower back and they make it so you can really stabilize and use your core for lifting. And so what we're going to do is we're going to keep our knee in, and you can interlock your hands around your shin, and maybe it's not super close to your chest, and that's okay. We want our right leg straight. Our right foot is flexed, so that means your toes, you can't see my foot, but toes are coming towards your face. And all I want you to do is lift and drop your leg. So the leg comes to a hover, and then you bring your leg back up. We want a neutral S-curve in our spine, so your TVA really likes a neutral spine. Often when we're trying to work the front of our abdominal wall, we want to pull in our rib cage and really kind of our belly poofs up a little bit. Here we want to keep our spine neutral, and we're trying not to get our six-pack abs all fired up. We're just trying to get into the deepest core muscles. We are also working on strengthening our hip flexors, which often we think that we have tight hips, but really we have weak hips. And so the hip flexion is something that most of us could really improve on. The stronger your hip flexors get, everything's going to just feel better. Your lower back is going to feel better because we need to strengthen this muscle here. And if it's weak, then our abdominal wall also often is weak because they have to work together. All right, so we're still just moving the leg up and down, nice and easy. This is such a good way to start to strengthen your abdominal wall and your hip flexors at the same time. My hip flexors are sore from teaching class yesterday, so I can already feel it. All right, everyone, we're gonna let our leg drop slowly all the way to the floor. Your left knee is still in. Bring your right hand to your left knee and gently bring your leg over your body for a gentle spinal twist. So here we wanna make sure we're keeping our left shoulder blade on the floor. Try not to get so deep into the twist that your arm like flies up. So we want to keep a natural long spine here. And remember, breathe. So on your exhale, maybe deepen into your twist a little bit more. And then slowly come back to the center. Extend your left leg forward, bring your right knee in so you can interlock your fingers around your right shin, and then extend your left leg up towards the ceiling. So your left foot is flexed, and then you're just going to slowly begin to drop your left leg to a hover and then bring your left leg up towards the ceiling. We often think a lot of our body problems are from lack of flexibility. And so we think we need to stretch our way out of it. And really, it's a unique combination of strength and flexibility that we have to develop. Because if some of our smaller muscles that we don't often think about are weak, then we're never gonna fix it, what's going on in our bodies, because we need to strengthen those muscles like our hip flexors and our abdominal wall. And our glutes even. A lot of times our glutes are weak, weirdly. We don't think of them like that, but they are. So you're probably going to feel this in your quads. So until your hip flexors get a bit stronger, your quad tends to take over. So like a lot of times in my classes that I teach, people's quads really start to like cramp up when we're doing hip flexor work. But as your hip flexors get stronger, your quads don't have to work as hard, and it starts to feel a little bit better. All right, everyone. Slowly let your left leg drop towards the floor, all the way down, and bring your left hand to your right knee, your right arm out to the side, and just gently come into a spinal twist. Keeping your right shoulder blade pressed into the floor. On your exhales, this is when you want to feel your spine get longer and have an even twist. All right, everyone, slowly come back to the center. We're just going to come up to a seated position. So remember, you can do this on the edge of a chair, or you can, if it's comfortable for you to just sit in a cross-legged position, you can do that as well. And so now we're going to just move our spine a little bit more, and we're going to start with cat-cows in a cross-legged position. So you just bring your hands to your knees. You're going to inhale deeply, and on your exhale, just round your spine back. So you can kind of see mine, like we're really trying to make the shape of like a turtle shell. So you're pressing back through your shoulder blades, tucking your chin in. And then on your inhale, let your chest come forward and look up, and shoulders back. So at your own pace, just exhale into a cat position, and then inhale into cow. All right, coming back to the center. Now we're going to just take another spinal twist. So like I said in the other classes, so we want to move our spine in all of the ways that it can move. So that means we want to have flexion and extension, lateral movement, and twisting. So those are the ways our spine is able to move, because it's so cool. And if you don't do every way, then we get tight in certain areas. And so try to move your spine forward, back. Need back bends. We don't often do back bends. We twist and we move laterally. Okay, so now we're going to take another twist. So you're going to bring your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind you on the floor, and remember, we inhale, we lift and lengthen because we're filling up our lungs, creating tension in the body. And so that's when we lift. We're using our prana to lift up. And on your exhale, that's when you can move deeper into a posture. So on your exhale, you twist. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, and twist. And try not to hunch up your shoulders, kind of allow your shoulders to drop. And slowly come back, bring your right hand to your left knee. Left hand to the floor behind you. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Exhale and twist. Slowly come back to the center. Okay, now we're going to move our spine laterally, just like we did on the floor, but now we're seated. So bring your left hand out to the side. Inhale your right arm up. So lengthening up out of our waist, and then exhale, just take a slight side bend. So keeping our shoulders square. So oftentimes people either want to drop their shoulders or maybe they open way too much, and so we're just trying to keep everything even to the side. You can even push into the floor with your left hand so that your right sit bone presses into the ground. All right, slowly come back. Right hand down to the floor. Inhale your left arm up. So inhale, lift up, lengthen through the side here, and then take a gentle side bend, keeping your shoulders square to the front. So again, we're not dumping our shoulder down or opening it up too much. And inhale, slowly come back to the center. Okay, so now we're going to talk about hip flexors just for a moment. And it's like maybe the least fun thing that we do because because our hip flexors are weak. Like most of us have weak hip flexors. And so when we start doing these exercises, it's like, oh God, this is tough. And know that if it's tough, you need it. So if we start doing this exercise and you're like, this is hard, that is good. And you need to do this more often. So you can even do this on the chair too. So if in this seated position doesn't feel good for you, please feel free to sit on the edge of a chair. And so we're just going to, you can have your right leg straight. You can bend your right leg any way that is comfortable for you. We're gonna work on our left first. So I'm gonna just bend mine underneath me. So your hands come behind you to give yourself a little bit of a base here. And I'll do it this way first. So I want you to straighten your left leg first, flex your left foot, and then slide your heel back, bringing your knee towards your chest. So this is step one. For those of you where this feels like you're getting the work you need in your hip flexors right here, pulling your knee in, that's what you're gonna do. Those of you that want a little bit more, we're gonna hover the left leg and you're gonna bring your knee in as tight as you can and then straighten your leg out and then bring your knee in super tight. See, I can already feel it. So the closer you bring your knee in, the more you're gonna feel it in your hip flexors. So again, you can be sliding your heel if you'd like. Hi, Hula, come in. Hello. This is Hula. She's doing down dog. She loves down dog. That's her favorite. She holds herself in that position all the time. And I didn't teach her that. All right, everyone, so nice job. Okay, now we're gonna pull our knee in, and I just want you to see if you can pulse it towards your chest for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that should be a lot. You should rub it out if you need to. Rub out your quad, rub out your hips, and then we're gonna switch. So bend your left knee, and your right leg is out. Okay, so the first thing you can do here is you just slide your heel back, bringing your knee towards your chest. If you guys did this 5 minutes every day, I would be very happy if you did this because our hip flexors are one of the biggest things that we don't realize causes a lot of problems, but actually does. And so just taking 5 minutes to strengthen your hip flexors would be great. So again, if you want a little bit more, you hover the leg and you bring your knee in, and then straighten it up. See, mine are already sore from a couple days of teaching these classes, so. And remember, when you straighten your leg, Straighten it all the way. All right, and release. Okay, rub it out. Come here, lay down, lay down. Okay, rub out what you need to. Okay, there's one more thing we're gonna do with our hip flexors, and then we're gonna get into our building up our gluteus medius, which is your side glute. So again, we're gonna switch legs. So bend your right knee, or you can leave it straight if you'd like, your hands behind you. So this time we pull our knee in, and then we open it up out to the side. And then we bring our knee back in and straighten. So again, you can bring your heel on the floor, just slide your heel up and open it out. So you don't even need to hover your foot. You can just slide on the carpet or wherever you're at just to get the motion down. If you want more, you hover your leg, pull your knee in, open your leg out to the side, bring your knee back, straighten. Okay, I'm going to talk about our gluteus medius for a second, so the side glute. It is your abductor, so it helps you open your leg out, and it is your stabilizer muscle. So when you are standing on one leg, even for a moment, when you're walking upstairs, stepping up into a tractor, stepping up anywhere where you are putting all of your weight onto one leg, your gluteus medius is what stabilizes you. So if that muscle is weak, it is harder to balance, and it's harder to open your leg up out to the side. So that's why we spend a ton of time on strengthening that muscle. Okay, I'm already tired here. Okay, so we're gonna switch sides. So release your left leg, bend your left leg, bring your right leg out. So again, you can slide it and open without lifting your heel up off the floor, or you hover your right leg, pull your knee in, open your leg out to the side. And just notice if there's a difference. Maybe you feel more fatigued on one side than you do on the other. Hi, Henny. And remember, we're trying not to move too much in our pelvis, so we want to really stay stable and move in our hip joint here. You're making this really easy, Hula. Yeah. All right, everyone, nice work. Okay, we're coming back to the center and release. So rub your quad if you need to. And remember, as we're building strength in our hip flexors, a lot of times your quads will try to step in just because our quads tend to be stronger. And so we tend to use our stronger muscles to compensate for weakness in other areas of our body. And so over time, as your hip flexors get stronger, your quads won't be recruited so much. Okay, so when you are ready, we're going to come to a tabletop position. Another thing that tends to be pretty weak is our glutes. And you wouldn't think it because they're a huge muscle. And so we do have to strengthen our glutes because a lot of times they fall asleep. They don't get used very much, especially if we're sitting a lot. And so we have to really strengthen our glutes more to like wake them up. And so, for example, when do we need our glutes? When we're walking upstairs, when we're stepping into things. A lot of times if our glutes are weak, we take more burden in our back. And so as you strengthen your glutes, your back will start to feel a little bit better because it won't be needed as much. And so we're going to come to all fours. And if your wrists give you any problems, you can come down to your forearms, or you can make fists and use your, just put your fists on the ground. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to extend our left leg back. I'm going to scoot up a little bit, straight back, and I want you to flex your left foot. So right now, already your glute should be engaged. We're just going to do one exercise here, one that you can remember to do. So drop your toes down and bring your heel back up. Now what we're not trying to do is lift so much that your lumbar bends even more than it already is. So we just want a neutral spine, and we want this to be entirely in our glute. So if you feel like you're raising your heel and your lower back is bending a bunch, you're trying to go too high. And remember, you can just even go this high. So we're just tapping our toes, making sure our foot is flexed. All right, now we're gonna keep our leg up. You're gonna turn your toes out to the left, and I just want you to pulse up and down 1 inch for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. That should be pretty tight there, and maybe even cramped a little bit. So now we're gonna come into child's pose to stretch out. So we're gonna bring our toes to touch, knees open, and just bring your arms out in front. And relax your forehead on the floor or a pillow, whatever works best for you. And remember, if this is too much to have your hips back towards your heels, you can always place pillows underneath your hamstrings as much as you need to create a cushion for your knees. All right, everyone, we're gonna come back to tabletop. We've got 2 cheeks, so we gotta get the other one in. So we're gonna extend our right leg back. So remember here, we're pulling our front ribs in, so don't let your belly drop towards the floor. Pull your ribs in slightly, and remember, you can make fists with your hands, or you can even drop to your forearms. We don't want any wrist pain, so flex your right foot, drop your right toes down, and then squeeze and lift your heel. Remember, we don't want our lower back bending a bunch. We just want a neutral spine. And squeeze your glute nice and tight. So what happens when we're sitting a lot is your hip flexors are shortened, your glutes are elongated, and so then when we try to use our glutes to step up into things or pick things up, they aren't used to being activated. And so when we do these exercises, what we're doing is we're waking them up, and we're teaching them that they need to work too. Same thing with your hip flexors. When they are shortened a lot during the day, they aren't recruited for a lot of different activities, and so that's what we're doing when we're strengthening these muscles. All right, everyone, so we're going to end this. Keep your legs straight behind you, turn your toes out to the right, and then just pulse up and down for the last 5 seconds for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and release. All right, coming into your child's pose, toes together, knees open up, stretch your arms out in front, and you can relax your forehead on the floor or a pillow or whatever you have handy. You can even just bring your elbows down, bring your hands to touch over your head if you want a little stretch for your triceps and your shoulders. All right, everyone, slowly, carefully come out. So we're going to come back to a seated position. Whatever is most comfortable for you. We're going to stretch our shoulders out a bit. So the tightest part of your back is up here, thoracic spine, right in between your shoulder blades. Most flexible spot tends to be our lumbar. So you can imagine when we're moving around, our lumbar takes a lot of stress. Another thing to remember, we only have 5 vertebrae attaching our upper skeletal structure to our lower skeletal structure. Those 5 vertebrae are super important, and most of us have lower back pain. And what we need to do to help those 5 vertebrae is to strengthen the muscles around your back, including your glutes, including your hip flexors. And so one thing to remember is that our abdominal wall muscles are extremely important to strengthen. Oftentimes during the day we stick our ribs out, we call it rib shear, and then our butt kind of sticks out, and then we even have more crunch in our lower back. So throughout your day, make sure that you can put your fingers on the front of these front floating ribs here. Pull your front ribs in, and you can automatically feel your abdominal wall engage. It drops your tailbone towards your heels a little bit and lengthens your lower back, so creating a little bit more space in that lower vertebrae. So don't walk around with your chest out and your butt out. We want to pull our ribs in. So as you're sitting here, making sure you're pulling your ribs in a little bit, using the strength of your abdominal wall to sit up. We're going to interlock our hands behind our back. Keep your elbows bent. We want our thumbs pressing into our sacrum. And I want you to try to bring your elbows a little bit closer together while you're dropping your shoulders down. And then once you have that position, you can straighten your arms. And then those of you that want to sort of bring your upper body down a little bit, you can go for that. And slowly, carefully come back up. And release your arms, maybe stretch your arms forward. Take a deep breath in and a slow breath out. And release. All right, everyone. So now we're going to do a little bit more stretching in our hip area. And so pigeon is what we're going to do, but for some people, pigeon is just not possible, and that's okay. Just the way our knees are bent in it. So if this doesn't work for you, then I'm going to show you something else in a moment. So we're going to keep our left knee bent, and then we're just going to bring our right leg behind us. And we want our hips generally even, so if you're falling from one side to another, try to center everything so that you're not dumping into one side. And then if you feel comfortable coming forward over your leg, you're more than welcome to do that, but just being very careful of your knee joint. If pigeon isn't going to work for you, we're going to just bring the soles of our feet together, letting the tops of your feet open up, and you can interlock your hands underneath your feet and just begin to bend your elbows down, bringing your chest forward. All right, everyone, if you're in pigeon, why don't you switch sides? So just bend your, I can't remember which leg I started with, so just do the opposite side. And then bring the other leg behind you. And remember that we don't want to be dumping into our right or left hip too much, so try to even it out. You can use your hands to do that. And then if you would like to fold over your front leg, you're more than welcome to do that. And then those of you that are still in butterfly, just take a break and then go one more time. So just sit up, take a deep breath, and then exhale, come back down. So remembering on your exhales, you are relaxing your nervous system. You're telling it it's okay to stretch. And so use your breathing to move a little bit deeper into the posture. If you have injuries, you have to be super careful. Your body remembers everything that has ever happened to it. And so if your nervous system feels like you are putting something at risk by a certain movement or a certain stretch, it will sometimes overreact to prevent you from doing that movement again that caused an injury before. And so that's why yoga, we have to practice it as often as we can so that we can retrain our nervous system to maybe it was a really old injury, and we have to sort of retrain our nervous system to allow us to relax in certain positions or certain stretches. A lot of times your flexibility isn't quite correlated with the length of your muscle, but it's more correlated with your body's habits and your nervous system remembering what's happened to it previously. And so when we feel super tight, that's where we have to use our breath to relax and to allow our body to move a little bit deeper. All right, everyone, slowly, carefully come out. Okay, we're gonna meet on our backs again for the last part of class here. So just come to your back in a comfortable position. And again, I want you to separate your feet wider than your hips, and then slowly begin to sway your knees side to side. So we started class like this, and I just want you to notice if it feels any different. All right, coming back to your center. Bring the soles of your feet together, let your knees open up wide, and your feet can be close to your butt or your feet can be further away from your butt. Often it's really comfortable if you put pillows underneath your legs too, so that you don't have to, sometimes when we're in a reclined butterfly, we are a little tense because it's a little too much to have our knees just opened up with gravity pulling them down. And so I like to put pillows underneath my legs just so I can relax in the posture and not really have to worry about kind of that tension in your hip area. And if you want to feel where your transverse abdominis muscles are, bring your fingers to your hip bones, those hard points on your hips, and then move your fingers in a little bit. And then just take a couple deep breaths. And then on one breath, I want you to purse your lips and blow all of the air out of your mouth as you're feeling on the insides of your hip bones. So, and you're gonna feel your TVA tighten up a bit, and so now you know where it is. All right, everyone, we're gonna bring our knees together. Bring your arms out to the side, palms face down. Bring your knees directly over your hips. It's always good to end with a twist. And then slowly let your knees fall over to the left. Bringing your left hand to the outside of your right leg. Keeping your right shoulder blade pressed into the floor. Slowly bringing your knees back to the center and let your knees fall over to the other side. Your little right hand on the outside of your left leg. Slowly bring your knees back to the center, and then maybe bring your knees in one more time. Wrap your arms around your legs or just grab onto each knee. And if you want to move your knees in a circle, feel free to do that. All right, everyone, when you're ready, final Shavasana. Very important that you take this time, and I'm going to talk you through it. So you're just going to keep laying on the ground. Let your legs separate a little bit. Let your toes fall open. Arms by your side, palms face up. This is something we often don't take for ourselves, is just time to relax. And so I hope you take this 2 minutes now. I want you to close your eyes. I want you to take one more deep breath. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Open your mouth and exhale all of the air out. And from this point on, allow your autonomic nervous system to take the breathing over again. So you're no longer controlling the breath consciously. You're just letting your unconscious system take over. I want you to let your upper teeth separate from your lower teeth, so allow your jaw to relax. I want you to close your eyes and allow all those muscles around your eyes and in between your eyebrows to relax. And I want you to notice your breath that you have right now, and if it is different than the breath you may have started class with. So how does it feel in your system? Is it a little bit easier to take a deep breath? So what I'm going to do here for the last bit of class is I'm just going to name a body part, and all I want you to do is notice that part of your body. Just bring your awareness to the part when I say what it is, and then just let it go. So your right foot, your right shin, your right calf muscle, your right knee, your right thigh, your right hip, your left foot, your left shin, your left calf muscle, your left knee, your left thigh, your left hip, your pelvis, your belly, your rib cage, your chest, your collarbone, your right hand, your right wrist, your right forearm, your right elbow, your right bicep, your right tricep, your right shoulder, your left hand, your left forearm, your left elbow, your left bicep, your left tricep, your left shoulder, your throat, the back of your neck, your jaw, your lips, your nose, your right eye, your left eye, your forehead, your scalp, that little space in between your eyebrows. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you in 2 weeks for another edition of Kavira Yoga for Farmers and Ranchers. I hope you enjoyed yourself. If you're on replay, welcome. And I will see you guys all in a couple weeks. Thanks.